work.
How many computers do we have in the school system?
Well, it's over 800.
And how many, if you reduce this technology support person, what will we have?
Well,
One.
we have one person who handles all of that, plus, network, and another person handles the data, the total data entry from attendance to, accounting to the SIMS data, to the Department of Ed. It goes on and on. Report card information, all the software, managing the alert, just take the alert now, that little, those email messages that went out, if you think about the fact that there are about 5,000 contacts, keeping those databases up and current is a task unto itself.
I was at a company where we had probably 400 computers and 5 servers, and I think we had 4 or 5 full-time technology support staff. Because 1, you never know when a server is going to go down, and 2, people always need help. Someone always needs help doing something, or something, someone's computer is down. So that is
50%.
okay.
And it's not just computers. If you think about the other technology,
Right.
the smart boards,
Right.
and all of those devices are. This is mind-boggling. Item number 5, 4 teachers at the high school electives. This will change the schedule at the high school to probably reflect over 2 days, a 7 period versus an 8 period day, and would affect the number of electives that students would be allowed to take. The middle school, 2 middle school teachers. Again, this probably would focus on the literacy component that we just added this year. 7, the elementary class size, and I wanted to, probably can say right now, based on kindergarten enrollment, that it appears cautiously that we may be able to reduce one half-time section of kindergarten without affecting class size.
That'll be a half
It's
position.
Awful early in the
Right, that's
year
kinda-
for you to
It
be
is.
saying that.
It is, but
That would happen last year, you
based
added
on,
one.
I know, but based on the census, I am concerned at the Hood School that even after the registration period, we have 19 children, which is a huge number. 19, they're on the census, we expect them to come, but they've not registered. Whereas at the Batchelder School, 4 have not registered. So it's a very big number. I don't know why the Hood School, what's going on there.
I can
but
account for one.
Would that be private? We wouldn't see that large percentage usually
It's
going to
too
private
great,
kindergarten, right?
It's a shift.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah.
great. It's so far out of what historically we would expect. But we will run 2 full-day kindergarten classes at the Batchelder, 1 at the Hood, and 1 at the little school.
I guess, David, on those, I don't know how we're going to do this, and a lot's going to depend on the negotiations with the teachers. But I just can't support reducing any of these teaching positions. I don't
Yeah,
know.
number 5, 6, and 7.
I absolutely cannot
No,
support
we
that.
really need to get.
And I don't know where we're going to find that $450,000 elsewhere, but,
Right. Those in my priority order would be last.
yeah.
Well, it goes on. Number 8 is to reduce administrative services. This would reduce the work year for the assistant principal of the middle school. And this would eliminate we pay a teacher to provide coordination of the position is assistant to the director of pupil personnel services, but handles all of the out-of-district placement in all of the schools. And because there's a fairly large summer component, we would eliminate the summer component. That's what's built in.
So would the assistant principal at the middle school under this proposal have the same, work the same number of days as a teacher, or would there be?
No, there would probably be probably a 10% reduction.
Okay.
Position 9, this is another teaching position. This is a teacher. Right now, we only have one teacher in the entire district who works with students directly and with teachers directly in the integration of technologies. This is not a technician. This is an instructional position. We had two. 2 years ago, we eliminated one. And so we have one now, Mr. Biggs, and Mr. Biggs is retiring. We would not fill that position. And so we would have no technology.
I know how we can save money. We should just get rid of all the computers. I mean, so we're getting rid of the technology integration teachers.
But we're in that lease.
No, but I mean, think how much money we could save.
We're in that lease.
I'm
We
being a
can't
little
turn them
cynical there.
back.
I'm being a lot cynical. David, I guess the question I have on that technology integration teacher, can you give us an example of how, is that teacher requested by teachers throughout the district, or how is that person work?
Well, when we cut back on the computer paraprofessional positions in the elementary, went from one in each building to 2 in 3 buildings, Ed picked up the work
Okay.
and working among all 3 schools, making sure that those 2 individuals were able to manage the labs, and then also he's working with all of the teachers in all 3 elementary schools. So at one point, we had, Joey Coughlin did middle and high school. We pulled away from that 2 years ago, and now really Ed is here for the entire district. So
And Joanne is now a teacher at the middle school
She's-
for the computer, she's the computer
she
teacher at
is
the middle school.
as part of the rotation,
Right.
so she does not have any time
Right.
to do any direct work. in-
With Mr. Biggs is retiring.
I know.
Position 10 would eliminate the only professional librarian in the district. So when Mrs. Jablonski retires this year, she is the high school librarian. There will be no professional librarians in the entire district. So the kind of work, and I was really very, it was nice to see Amelia in her talk about student work tonight, talked about the
Oh, right, the
kind
library.
of work that goes on as expected, and that is now just going to be left up to the teacher in the classroom, making sure that they can go to the library and do that kind of work. But I am in conversation with the town library to see if there's some way that we can get support. But I think they're also very stressed, and I would think would be pretty difficult to take on 5 libraries on top of the work that they're currently doing.
So do you think that there's any other school district, do you know of any other school district that has no certified librarians?
I do not.
And if they are, how are they certified?
How are they accredited?
But I bet you there's a lot to
They're
talk
not
about.
accredited.
Right.
We'll have a major problem with accreditation on this.
I think it is a great idea talking with the town, but I'm not so sure that they're gonna be in a really great position to be loaning out staff next year. But I think that, moving forward, I think that's the way a lot of
You're gonna
towns are
have
gonna
to.
have to go,
You're gonna have
because
to.
you're just not, unless you get the funding, you're not gonna have the staff.
Mhm.
That's required.
Everybody's gonna have to do more if we lay off. Oh, if they're not laying off.
Right. Right.
Position 11 is to, right now, we offer both band and jazz band outside of the 8 classes. And this one in the evening, jazz band or stage band, and that evening program would be lost. We would offer it as an activity, but it would not be a fundamental course. therefore that reduces the need for teacher 522.
So how do you offer it as an activity, but not a course? You still need someone to, I mean, if you offer band as an activity, do we have a
Pay
band?
stipend, there would be a.
Yeah.
There would be, so there would
stipend.
be, so they have to pay a stipend for that.
Yeah,
Right.
but not for band, because you're graded for band.
Well, they would not be.
They would
But
not
the
be anymore.
jazz is.
It would not
No.
be, it would not be a grade.
No
It would not
grade
be,
for band.
it would not be, we would probably offer it during, as one of the 7 classes.
It could be an elective.
But right now, students take 8 classes plus these other 2 instrumental band classes. So you can, some students take 9 or 10. Cut it out, we'd offer it either as an activity or as one of the electives, but you know that with that, you'll get a fall off on.
Like we saw, I mean, where it wouldn't go to 0 like we saw at the middle school last year because we had none, but it would probably drop off, and it could drop off to the point where it just doesn't exist anymore. Okay.
Positions 12, or items 12 and 13 is to basically remove all content area department heads. Math, science, social studies, and I think about all the work that we're doing in these areas, where you have department heads who are directly responsible for making sure that different parts of the curriculum are, are moving forward. Think about our math department head, Mrs. Lordy, who is working with UMass Lowell in terms of science, technology, engineering, and math. The amount of professional development that is being provided with these positions would be gone.
If you don't have department heads, who coordinates, say, the UMass Lowell program, or who coordinates some of these other programs that the department heads are doing now? I mean, I don't, how do we,
They don't have it.
We don't have.
They don't have
I don't see how they can have. Because these department heads will then go back to teaching
They go back
full
to
class
teaching
loads.
Class.
Full loads, right.
Which is why on the next reduction is because you can reduce staff because you have department heads now available to teach full class loads,
Yeah,
correct?
That would represent probably another 2.5 position layoff, because the department heads would pick up those
Existing
teachers.
teachers would be let
Right.
go and the department heads would fill those. So we wouldn't lose the positions, but we'd lose the people, but we'd still have the positions.
So, item number 14 was a 5% across-the-board reduction in the expense budgets. And then the last item would be to increase athletic user fees in one fashion or another. And again, what we're targeting here is basically 100% fee-based athletic program. Right now, it's about 60.
50 and 60.
Yeah. So the net level 2 reductions, 1,137,935, you need to, so that's a savings, but then you need to pull out of that savings the potential unemployment costs, and here they're much greater because we're not dealing with.
We're eliminating real positions,
Yeah,
right?
so 281,600. Now, again, some of these positions would not yield unemployment. I'll give you some examples. The elementary positions, we have 3 classroom teachers who are retiring.
Oh, so if we were to do that, you just wouldn't fill those
We
positions.
wouldn't
you'd
fill
move
those, we'd
people-
have to move people around.
Right.
We have a reading teacher who is retiring. We mentioned the high school librarian is retiring. We mentioned that the technology integration teacher is retiring. So those are retirements, and I know that people will say, well, that's attrition, so just get your savings that way, but if you leave it